Hi, this is Nancy. I'm a homeschool mom of 2 children. We've been doing that for 2 years. And while that's not a really long time, I have learned a lot in the process. And one thing that I have come across is that many moms and dads alike do not know their state laws when it comes to homeschooling. So today we're going to talk about Alabama homeschool laws. We've already discussed the laws in the state of Mississippi. You can find that video in the description box down below. Or you could check out my playlist that is entitled Homeschool Laws by State. Because each state in the United States has different laws, different regulations when it comes to homeschooling. So we are going to try to get to each one of the 50 states. So today we'll be discussing Alabama. Now keep in mind, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not affiliated with the Board of Education in the state of Alabama, nor any Board of Education. So I'm just a homeschool mom that is on a mission to help other homeschool moms. I've learned a lot in the last couple years, and many of you have helped me to get to where I am today. So I would like to help other moms that are just starting out. In the state of Alabama, every single child between the ages of 6 and 17 must be registered with the school. All right, so unless they are already enrolled in a public or private school, then you do not have to register them for homeschool or private school until they are 6 years old. Now, if your child has been registered or pre-registered for pre-K or kindergarten with a private or public school, you will need to withdraw them from the school first before you register them for private school or homeschool. So what you will need to do is contact the school that, go to the school and talk to them, not just contact them by phone, but actually show up at their school, fill out a withdrawal form, make a copy of it, and keep that for your records. The school will probably tell you that you do not need to keep that for your records. It's not necessary, but I'm telling you as a mom that it definitely is necessary. You do need to keep it in your records. So if they have even been registered for public or private school. Not that they have attended, but just the fact that they were registered requires you to formally withdraw them. And so get the school to make a copy of that form, keep that in your records, and then you can register them for either private or homeschool. Okay, there are 3 different ways in the state of Alabama to legally homeschool your child. We're not talking about the methods of homeschooling. We're talking about the ways by law, and you will understand if you continue to watch this video. I hope that you'll watch it to the end so you will get all the information, because some will be linked down in the description box below and some will just be mentioned in the video. So there are 3 different ways to legally homeschool in the state of Alabama. That is by way of a church school. And keep in mind that some church schools only act as umbrella schools. You can look up the word umbrella school, and what that means is just a cover school. So you could technically be teaching your child inside your home, but yet the church school covers you legally. So keep that in mind when we say church school. Private school, even if private school takes place at home, you can create your own private school in the state of Alabama, but you must meet certain requirements, and we'll get into that in a little while. You could also use a private tutor to homeschool your children in the state of Alabama, and a private tutor would need to meet certain requirements as well. We will get into that in a few minutes. So you must register your child with the attendance officer or superintendent by the time they're 6 years old and until they are 17 years old. You must do it annually. So every single year you will have to meet and fill out forms. So as I said in the beginning of the video, about the withdrawal form, all those other forms that you fill out, either get copies of them or get a proof that you did comply, that you are in compliance with the laws of your state. At all times. Keep that in a folder for each child. Make one separate folder for each child. That way things are so much simpler if problems were to ever arise. Because a lot of times, the school tells you that you don't have to do that they keep very good records. But what happens is that humans are taking care of your papers. Humans make mistakes. So as mothers, it's our responsibility to also keep those forms because it's our children. All right, so a church school has certain requirements, and here's what you have to do. If you are sending your child to a church school, then you must enroll your child in a church school. You must file a church school enrollment or certificate with your superintendent. You must also keep an attendance register for your child. You must also comply with all of the school's policy, and that is referring to your church school's policy, not whatever school district you live in, but the church school. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, a church school could simply be an umbrella school for you, but you do need to ask questions. You need to ask that particular church school if they are an umbrella school or if they are a physical school that your child will be attending. You also need to ask what their policy is so you can comply with their policy regardless of whether it is an umbrella school or a physical school. Okay, if you go the private school route, now you can open up a private school in your own home as well. So that does, in the state of Alabama, a private school doesn't necessarily mean a physical, campus, a physical school campus. It could mean your own home in which a private school occurs, but you must meet certain requirements if you choose to do that. So by October the 10th of each year, the private school must register with the superintendent's office. And by the 5th day of operation, they must have a list turned in of each student that will be attending the private school. All right, so they must notify the superintendent with that. And let's see, number 2, they must have an attendance register kept at all times. Number 3 is that they must have proof of immunization records. Your child must have their immunizations in the state of Alabama if they are attending a private school. Okay, and physical education must be taught in the private school. All right, now the third option is that you could hire a private tutor to instruct your child. But that private tutor must be state certified to teach. All right, and that instruction that comes from the private tutor must be in English for at least 3 hours of the day. Also, there is a requirement for the number of days each year, and that is 140 days per year that your child must be taught by the private tutor. Let's see. You must file all that with the superintendent. So those are the ways to homeschool in the state of Alabama. By way of church school or umbrella school with a church, private school or private tutor. And I'm going to leave some links in the description box down below. So check right up under the video. There's going to be a little drop down arrow, and that is description box. I will leave some links down in there for you. Where I got my information, most of it came from www.hslda.org. That is your best friend. If you are choosing to homeschool, hslda.org is your best friend. You can find every single state and their requirements right there. So keep in mind that, if you are living in a state temporarily, if you are choosing to live there for 1 month or more, you must comply with their state laws. So, if you're a military family, if you travel a lot, you must keep in compliance with those states if you're staying for an extended amount of time. So I hope this has helped someone out. If it did, please give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more homeschool how-to videos. And we do cooking videos as well. We share health and wellness tips as well as Bible studies, Bible lessons. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button if you feel inclined. And thank you so much for joining us. God bless. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.